Why does life seem to be so hard? Have you ever found that in your life? You ask yourself why? Why why this? Why is this happening to me? What's going on? Why was I even born now? Why is life so hard? Why can't it just be easy? Why can't it be easy to find a mate, to find friends, to get a job, to make money, to pay bills? Whatever it is you're looking for in life. Maybe it's just the basic necessities of shelter and food and heat. Why? Why? In this very brief video, I'm going to take a look at that question why, because we definitely are in a time of rapid change. I've been on this planet for 62 years, and some of you may have been here longer or shorter. It doesn't really matter too much, but I can tell you young people as well, that we are going through, and you've heard the word so many times, an unprecedented time. That is, in a generation, it's unprecedented. It has happened before, it happens in other countries. But we're going through a major shift, no doubt. I live in Canada. We recently, the Liberals released their budget. It's kind of austere. It's kind of tightening the belt and also investing and trying to attract other investors into Canada to give them tax breaks without there being tax breaks. Yeah, all kinds of complicated stuff. Huge budget. I'm not here really to comment on whether I think it's good or bad. But to just take a look at the world and the globe and the West, at what we all grew up to expect, that we'd all have decent jobs and we'd all have decent education if we wanted it, or training. And we're finding out more and more we're in this, is it a paradigm shift? I don't know. Are we in the down cycle of a, like you see on an oscilloscope, up and down sine wave? Are we on the bottom of it right now? Are we somewhere crossing in the middle? I don't know. All I know is, for one thing, I think there's something I really want to talk to you about, and it's about having a mind shift, a change of attitude. It's about controlling, really, all you can control. I mean, life it gets really tough. On top of just trying to find food, shelter, and housing, and wonder how you're going to get by and save for retirement, whatever, help your kids, whatever it is you want to do, it just gets to the point where some people get backed into a corner, and sometimes it takes years to get into that corner. Unfortunately, it takes years of negative things that have happened to them, decisions that they have made, has got a person to that point. Now you're in that point, and that's what this is about. I think we like to look at things like, I know some people that go on about UBI, it's Universal Basic Income, and they look to their lucky stars and they hope and pray that the billionaires are going to let this go through and that the governments will pass it and we'll all get a basic living expense. I, for one, am not against it, but I don't think it's the godsend or the help we really need. I think the help we really need has got to come from inside of us. And this is where I think there needs to be a real mind shift and change in myself and possibly in yourself. Just let me know in the comments below. It's partially to do with, as much as it may feel good for a while to cry out, why me, why this, why that, the world, the universe, and a lot that's around us is way too big for us to change. If we have no say in government, sorry guys, it's a little windy here, so I hope it's not affecting the sound. I see my camera wants to go back and forth. But really, what happens is we get to a place where we have to realize, I think at the end of the day, that we have very little influence over what happens. We can vote, and I think we should vote. If we're in a democracy, we should vote. But it's not going to give us maybe everything we want. Voting, I often say, really comes down to voting for the lesser of two or three evils. It's just a metaphor. It's just a saying. I'm not saying anyone's evil in either parties, whether in your states or Canada or UK. But sooner or later it gets to the point where you're going to have to sit down and you're going to have to say to yourself, how can I get myself out of this situation? How can I change my situation? Because you can sit around and you can wait and wait and wait and wait and hope and pray, and complain and post and tweet and do all this stuff about how you want to have higher welfare payments or higher basic income come in, it's really going to come down to you. It's going to come down to you and to me to solve our own problems. Yeah, do you see friends? Friends don't come knocking down your door to help you because they get their own problems in their own life. And once you're out of sight, you're out of mind, usually. And yes, there are those do-gooders and people who are empathic. I tend to be empathic myself, and I want to be a helper and to help people. But really, the only person you can really rely on is yourself. I mean, think about that. You really can't rely on anyone else. So once you get to that realization, and it took me many, many years to get past this, why me? Why is this happening? Why did that happen? Why did my car break down? Why right now? You know, why did that girl say no when I asked her out? All kinds of things. And anyway, really, why is not that question to be asked. I think the question you should be asking yourself is how, not why, not how, but how. Not how did I get into this situation. It may help a little bit because it'll keep you from going into it again. But I think the real question here is to ask yourself, how do I get myself out of this? How do I fix myself? I think really it has to come gradual. And you may say, well, I need the solution today. I don't think there's an easy, fast solution to things. I think you have to exhale, take those deep breaths, just let the anxiety go, and then sit down when you're feeling good. You got a good cup of coffee or tea or whatever you're into. You sit down with a piece of paper or notepad, your cell phone, and you start saying to yourself, what can I do? Now I'm going to give you a few hints, because this is more about maybe the financial, the economy type of thing, you know, economical help. There's all kinds of, I've done a few videos on mental health and how I had mental health and how it struggles, and I got help for anxiety, and sometimes that involved some medication for a little while, but a lot of it was therapy. And I think, even though I may do more videos about that in the future, I think that this one is going to be more about just, and very briefly, taking steps to change your situation. Because yes, it's good to change our minds, but we also know to have food on the table is going to make us feel a little better, and food in our belly. And maybe I'm going too much of an exaggeration. Maybe you own your own home. Maybe you've got this steep mortgage you're trying to pay back, and you just lost a huge career job. But the key is to have, number one, a mind shift, a change in thinking. And that is to stop asking yourself why at some point and say, there's nothing that, no one's going to possibly even tell me why. Maybe the universe will never give me the answer why. But what am I doing? What is my situation? Define the situation you're in right now. And that's this first step, is just realizing right where you are. And part of that, and maybe this is step two, is to have this mind shift. To take that mind shift that you are going to handle things. You're going to do something about it. And it's going to be in this up and down roller coaster. You're going to see failure and some success, and failure and failure and failure, and then some success. And which brings me to a third point. Basically, when it comes down to economic survival, what you're going to do is you're going to, yes, assess your situation. You're going to have a mind change about stop relying on someone else to solve your problems. And then three, you're going to want to start realizing that the only way to get something is to give something. It's kind of a basic, primitive concept that even if it's evolved into capitalism, there's a still basic principle there, is that in order to get something, you're going to have to give something. That means if you have a talent, if you have anything, whatever it is, a thing, it's going to have to be sold. You're going to have to exchange that thing, that talent, those ideas, whatever it is you do, and you're going to have to make an exchange for that. And sometimes you're going to have to take less at first than what that's worth. whether you're a songwriter or an artist, a plumber, just to get your foot in the door, sometimes you've got to take a lesser situation. So, but you are helping yourself if you start to realize that I'm defining this word selling. I know when we think of selling, we think of all kinds of negative things about selling. We think about how people are ripping somebody off. But what you're doing when you're selling is you're trading one thing for another. So if you have something lying around the house, for example, something you've inherited that's worth something, see if you can sell it. See if you can get the best price for it. If you can find something at a lower price and resell it, it's not unlawful. It's not. It's if someone else out there is going to buy that, it's not up to you to decide if it's morally correct for them to buy it. Now, I'm not talking about drugs or anything illegal. I'm talking about sometimes we get so sensitive, we think, well, gee, this is an old sofa. I have to give this to a person because it's an old sofa. Just grab that on my mind. Why would I charge $200 for a sofa that's only $50? If someone else out there is willing to pay $200, then you sell them the sofa. If they see this video and they're feeling like, well, I could do the same thing, they might take the sofa and sell it for $300. So it's not unlawful, it's not illegal, it's not immoral to do that. Just thought I heard some noises. I'm here on a pathway in a very wildlife setting. Okay, so I think I've kind of come to another point, is to realize, as I said, you're going to have to sell something. So then 4, you're going to have to ask yourself, what is it that I can sell? Okay, when you get to that point where you're selling, I'm thinking trading. You're trading, bartering, whatever it is you need. Even if you could barter, which is just exchanging a good for a good. You may find somebody who needs something. You may see something being thrown out. You can take that and you can survive. I'm talking about survival here. I know that there's all kinds of things that comes, like, this is not going to get me a pension. I understand that. This is not going to get me pay my way through college or education. I understand this. But what we're talking about is trying to get to a point where you're thinking you're the one who can take control of the situation and better yourself. And in fact, if that means getting a smaller education instead of a 6-year degree, and you have to go get a 2-year degree in something else, if you can do that, and then get the income coming in, and perhaps you can study more after that. I know this is all complicated. You can throw things back at me, and you can say, but what this, but that, but this. But here's another, a 5th point. The universe doesn't move. It's kind of like we have all these molecules around us, and the air is made up of molecules. And it's almost like that air doesn't move. I mean, it is moving today because of the wind. But your surroundings don't move or change unless you change them. Like, in a sense, yes, there's all kinds of changes. The leaves are falling, I get that. But you don't get something unless you can't move something unless you push it. So standing there looking at it, to go back to point 1 or 2 and say, why? Why is that chair there? Why is it I don't get UBI? Well, maybe the next budget will come out. And why does Trump do this? And why does Carney do that? It's way out of your control. It's way out of your control, and obsessing over it is going to lead you to make errors in judgment. It's going to even keep people from wanting to be around you, which is going to create worse situations for yourself. So what you want to do is change your attitude, be the person that's going to change things, look for solutions. If you have to, write those solutions down and say, what can I do? And then you do it. And then what you have to do, maybe this is number 5, am I losing points, is you have to test the waters. In other words, you say, well, this didn't work. Okay, it didn't work. Change it a bit. Whatever it is, you're trying to sell something, the price was too high, the price was too low, it wasn't something people wanted. You weren't selling to the right people. It's like you have to keep testing and testing and testing. And to just say, oh, why? It's actually pubescent, is that the term? It's actually pre-adolescent to just say to yourself, well, I'm just going to fold my arms and sit here, and I'm not going to do anything because my friends don't like me, and I don't. That's stuff that we have to shed. I know it hangs on. It does for me too. Sometimes I feel very hurt by things that other people have said or done, or not done. But dwelling on them is not going to solve your problem. What you want to do is solve your problem. You want to take back your power. This is the way to do it. Change your attitude. Try different things. The more you try, Even it's like, well, what's the point of me collecting pop bottles? Maybe that's not the best idea, the best example. But if you're at that point, doing that may get you at least out of your living room and out into the open air. And I don't know, but just there's different ways. It's you try different things. I don't think I'll ever really get monetized on YouTube. It's not for this channel, I don't think. But it's something. It's something I'm trying. I'm just trying it, and I'm going to give it my best, and I'm going to test and see what people like, what you guys want to hear about, how I can help you the best. But that's not my main goal. I'm doing other things to try to make my situation better. Right now, I have a roof over my head. I'm semi-retired. I do other things that for income. But yeah, if I had to go find a full-time job today, I know it would be very hard. I know it would be very difficult. And here's another fact, just to kind of give you that little boot in the butt. Life is kind of, I don't want to depress you because it's not about being depressed, but life is kind of going to get worse. There's an aspect to worse. Your health, you're going to go through times where your health's going to go down. Maybe your partner's health is going to get bad. But screaming about it into the void of Facebook or Twitter or whatever you use, it's really probably very rarely going to help you. So I'm not saying don't go get social assistance. I'm not saying do any of that stuff. We do need to do that stuff. But there has to come a time when you have to realize you need to make some little sacrifice. If you get that check, the social insurance, whatever check, you don't go to the burger joint and blow it all. You just don't. Well, what about other people? They do. Well, maybe you do, but you do it less. You have got to think that you're in control of you. That's your power. It's not getting the burger or the movie or Netflix or whatever. That's not success. Success is having yourself feel that you are in a position where you can change things and make yourself better, at least by trying. And you're not going to stop trying. And there's going to be times when you're just basically going to be, I don't know, you're going to need to just to vent, and also maybe to cry a bit and maybe say why. But you can't stay there. You can't stay there. It won't work. This whole video is sort of, I have kind of touched on this topic before. It's because I know someone who does this. I know a couple of people that do this I came across in life, and they always think by complaining, it's going to make things better. It doesn't make things better. It might make you feel good. It will make you link up with other people who feel bad. And all of a sudden, people will follow you or befriend you because they want to complain. But the whole bunch of you are going to go down this path, that leads to destruction. It's not any help. That's my opinion. I'm Kevin at Silver Hill. If you have any different thoughts, if you want to help others that might read this or see this by putting suggestions down there, my main goal in this video is to get you to change your attitude. That's where it starts. It starts with anything, whether you want to, if it's possible for you to lose weight, like medically, you check with your doctor or whatever, it's a change in attitude. And yes, our physical situation, our financial situations, they can affect our attitude. And I'm in no way suggesting that, we have to rise above it and be some kind of special hero. No, but we can believe that in gradual ways, each day, by telling ourselves, by writing things down, by reading something, looking at something, by not doing something else, quitting a habit that might be hurting your health, whatever. It's just taking a small walk instead of thinking, I have to do a long walk. I knew someone one time that said they wouldn't go for a walk because it's just here or there, and that's not going to do anything for my health. Yes, it will. It will get out there, get you in the universe, get the molecules moving, and for the most part, you probably walk another 10 feet the next day or 20. You see, it's the small steps. And I think had I known that when I was younger, I think things would have even been better for me than they are now. Not that I'm complaining. But anyway, I want to leave you with that. And thanks for watching. And you have a great day. See you in the next one. Bye.